to everyone. It's Ada from Pulse and Rock, and in this windy, sunny, whatever day it is, we have Saint Mesa with us. So first of all, how are you? Danny or Saint? How should call you?
I know I don't have my name on Instagram still, so so many people are like, "Who are? What's your name?" But yeah, my name is Danny. So,
Oh yeah, Danny slash
but
Saint.
yeah, no, I'm yeah, I'm doing a nice slow Friday. Had some
Okay,
coffee, had some focaccia.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So I
excited to
started
talk.
everything really smooth. Of course, like
Yeah.
before starting about because you have a really an incredible. I was reading you have like your own boutique. You have a lot of recognition in the United States as music, and it's your music. It's great. It's amazing. Before talking about the sound and your last single and your previous EP and your previous work, I want to just ask you mainly about you then. So how started your musical journey and how from I mean everything started like at the kid, the small, then until now from moving in Germany. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long journey. I've been doing
Okay.
music since I've been maybe 2014 was the first time I
Okay.
released any music that I'm on.
Okay.
But for Saint Mesa, I started this project, I think, in about 20, I think the first release was 2016.
Okay.
But it was funny. Before I had ever released anything with Saint Mesa, crazy decision to make.
Why?
But the first bit of music that I ever made was actually kind of more in the indie
Okay.
pop rock kind of world.
Yeah.
So I still have a few songs on Spotify that are in the,
In the
but as soon as I released that EP, I realized, wait, do I really want to make this kind of music? I was like, am I really connected with this,
exactly connect. Yeah.
style of music? And yeah, and so it took me a little bit of time, and also leaving the label, I
Okay.
actually want to make something that feels uh, more true to myself,
Okay.
and more interesting and more artistically valuable to me.
Okay.
And so I kind of ended up developing this little niche genre that my
Yeah.
music kind of exists in, where it's this hybrid cinematic elements of some folk stuff, elements of
Yeah.
some electronic, some soundtracky kind of sounding
Yeah.
stuff all put together in these like songs.
Because people that can, for example, listen to your most recent North or right, there is like you were saying, like a melting pot, we can say, of genres, almost like a fusion. You have the tribal, you have the tribal, and I love it when there is a tribalistic sound, because you don't understand where it came from. Because and of course it can
Mm.
be spontaneous to me to ask if you got any influences in your own music from we can say the music of the world, from if you traveled abroad, or if you got people close to you that influenced you, or musician that aside the friend say don't influenced you.
Mm. Yeah, I think that I've definitely always been drawn
Mhm.
to really, especially like tribal
Yeah,
percussion.
yeah,
Like I really love that so many cultures around the world, basically every culture around the world, really has like a heavy, unique, percussive style.
yeah,
Like you have taikos in Japan, you have like frame drum and like skin drums in Africa with like gourds with things in
yeah.
them and
That's
shaking and
beautiful,
like there's
beautiful.
so many cool variations of
Yeah,
percussion that have really inspired me, and also other instruments and stuff. Like I think for me, I love kind of using all of these instruments as influences for the music, because
yeah,
my goal I think is to make something that sounds and feels really almost familiar in a way,
yeah.
like in a really ancient way.
Yeah, kind of
familiar, but
reclaim
still
the
bringing some new life.
yeah. Also like claiming like always because I think with the not say with the technology, this is a word for the old people, but with the time being, especially today, we are losing what is the roots, the grounding of our not only our let's say ancestor and ourself, but also with all the surrounding. So we're because we are so focused to project ourselves in another world, in another, like I want to be in that place, but not real like I'm taking my luggage and go so I can leave it. But just only with the social media. It's a truth that we all and we all stay always worried about what other people think, what other people say. We literally forget the connection first with ourselves and then with who we are and the roots. So music like the music that you do, or the music that also because we want to say mention because we have a friend in common, Cleo. Let's say a shout out to Cleo. She's amazing. Also
Hi.
to her music. It brings you deep down to the grounding of the spirituality. That's something good, and it's not only like the folk spiritual music with only I don't know drumming and shamanic drum. Let's say for example, it gives also like the cinematic feel that aspect. So this can embrace more people, can capture more people interest. So of course, I think also the cinematic aspect played a big role in your music. The interest in the cinematic side started when you started to release, I don't know, because as I look, your first EP was a Nocturne, like
Mhm.
so it started with that, or you already had this love for the cinematic, let's say, world already.
I think before that, but I think that was Nocturne was the first
Okay,
EP that I released where I really connected the
okay,
cinematic to my music, I think.
yeah,
And I think that's where I really dove into that cinematic. I've
wow,
always loved, like, I grew up watching Star Wars,
yeah,
incredible and music, John Williams is amazing, or Lord of the Rings with Howard Shore, or like the Pirates of the Caribbean with Hans
yeah,
Zimmer, I grew up like loving movies and soundtracks, and I
yes,
think that I always some way wanted to do that in some aspect. And I think, yeah, I think like I finally connected me as a songwriter
yeah,
with my desire to make these like really expansive cinema music
yeah.
and kind of blended them into one thing.
Yeah, because doing also putting the cinematic aspect, for example, in the music video, is not cheap as people think. Is there's a lot of work behind it. So of course, if there is a director behind it, let's give a shout out because your video are beautiful and they literally give you this aspect of watching I don't say a movie or something that is almost like surreal, like this ethereal, let's say cinematic. So
Yeah,
who is behind
yeah,
them?
the
Because
last
yeah, also North is beautiful, really.
thank you. Yeah, the last I think the last three videos that I
Okay,
released were actually a good amount of the videos I actually do myself. And so
put the camera and you
for
record.
especially for it's so much work. In 2021, I was like, I before I had been renting like for the Murky music video and for the Lion music video.
Okay,
I filmed those with my brother. He camera operated, and I
okay,
kind of directed the shots and
directed. Yeah, okay,
everything, which was really, it was kind of the first little start of me wanting to do video
yeah,
stuff. But in 2020, I don't want to rely on other videographers. I don't want to have to wait for people to have to pay
yeah.
money for all this stuff. I'm gonna drop a bunch of money, buy a camera, buy some lenses, buy some basic equipment, and then just learn how to use it all and shoot everything.
Okay,
That's when I started doing I go for Bloom, which was my beautiful friend, was doing some dance performances. And then for Ghost, with my friend Weston, old high school friend, we just were like, let's shoot
okay.
this music video. It was two of us mostly. Like we'd set a camera on the tripod and I hit record and I'd be wearing all my costumes and stuff. And then I'd run into frame and we'd do something and then have
That's
to run back and click stop.
you know what? It's not easy. There's a lot of effort, but I saw a lot of also photographer models that they're doing, their own work by themselves. And sometimes I often I hear from professional photographers say, no, that's not their work. They are used. They say, but you have, you are seeing that. They show you how they do. It's impossible. That work, someone should help them. That's not true. If you have the imagination and have a tripod, a camera, whatever it is, you can do it. I mean, there's a lot of work, but at least you have your own work as you want with your point of view,
Yeah, I
with
think
your,
for me that's
yeah,
the most rewarding. Yeah, I think that
yeah,
for me that's the most rewarding is that I did, even if it's not as good as it could be if I hired someone who had been doing it for, the last 10 years and they're really good with everything and they know all the proper stuff. For
yeah,
me, I think it's important that like even if it's not like the most crazy quality, but it's something that feels genuine to me.
yeah. But it has
And it's
quality,
something
by
that
the
feels
way.
like it's
Just to say,
for what I'm able to do, I'm proud of it. But yeah, I'm really thankful to be able to do those things. I think it's a really nice privilege, I think, in a
yeah.
way, to be able to do that.
And and moving back also to the because of course as I find out on sorry on googling, I saw that you release the first was a Nocturne. Let me. Then there was Prodigal, Spectre, and Empire. Empire is the last one EP. You always
Yeah.
release EP, never full length, right?
hmm
How that's because you find it it's easier to spread music, or because you never maybe.
So I think my thought process was
Okay,
that been developing this sound, and the
okay,
first one that I did, Nocturne, was really it was me taking these basic song ideas, and then I was working with this amazing collaborator and producer, Mike Friesch, who is
okay,
amazing, and he still mixes all of my stuff, but. We did a lot of stuff like in a studio, and it was like a really cool environment. And then the next one, Prodigal, was during COVID, and I was like and had to essentially learn how to make this that we made with a few people in a studio. I had to learn how to do it like in my bedroom,
yeah,
basically,
yeah,
to the full extent of like its sound, really high quality
yeah,
and really
exactly.
epic. Apartment.
Yeah,
And so then I was like, okay, it's not time to do a full album at this point in time. It was a little challenging.
yeah, of
And
course.
then for Spectre Empire. And both of those EPs were kind of written almost at the same time.
Okay,
Like I wrote maybe like I think total songs on each EP, and I think I wrote maybe four
okay,
splitting off into their own separate EPs that I finished a batch first and
okay.
released, and then I finished the other batch later and released those like the next year. Um, and so I think it's hard right now. People really expect music to be released so consistently.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Unfortunately,
it's hard for me to like do all of this stuff and make these really big sounding tracks to like
yeah,
do that. Like, how could I do 10 songs
yeah,
every
yeah.
12 months, Like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, but I think also it's not like before because when we were, I think, younger, we were used to have, cassette for the older people, or even just, CDs. We put it in the car and we listen from the beginning to the end. Now with the streaming platform, unless you're not a collector, even if you're a collector, I think you just listen what you want. So having like having an EP, think it's easier to listen completely and absorb the music easier and quickly.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit easier
Yeah,
for consumption for people, and I also
exactly.
think that it's also on my end, like I'm basically like writing, producing, and recording everything
Mm.
like completely alone, and so
Okay.
um, it's also more possible for me to make, just a small batch of music at least, so I could release
Yeah.
some little body of work in that year. But I think for me this year. For
Yeah,
2025, I have a few singles that I want to
okay,
release, like maybe three or four, maybe potentially.
okay.
Mostly, I want to focus on writing a actual full length. This is going to be
Okay.
actually,
This is the
yeah, this is
goal.
going to be my first full length Saint Mesa album.
Okay,
Um,
this is it's like
so
I don't want to say a debut album because you already have like a lot of music released, but it's actually will be the debut album. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's also kind of a bet because releasing it will require, I think, like you said, a lot of effort. So maybe
yeah.
we're gonna see the like at the end of the year of the half 2025, kindish, the release of it because there's a lot
Yeah,
of work.
I think the plan would probably be to start releasing
Okay.
some stuff on the album in 2026, I think. I think that's probably a
Yeah.
realistic goal.
Yeah.
And I think that, for me, what's really important is I think the EPs are really nice because you're able to craft this little small world,
Yeah.
which is really important for me. I don't want it to just be a collection of just some random songs.
Exactly.
Like they need to fit, in
Yeah.
this world all together. But I think the album is going to be even more so crafting, maybe 10 to 12 to maybe 15
So
songs that are going to exist like in an even more complete, more cohesive, more developed
yeah.
developed world. And so it's going to take some time, and I want to really do everything on a higher level than I've done
Yeah.
the EPs, I think. Like I want to really,
Also
like I think
some
eventually when I have everything ready, I want to go book out like some really
studio.
cool studio somewhere in Europe. And I want to
Yeah, we
hire
have
some
like a good
amazing
producer.
string players, and I
Oh,
want
the whole
to
band.
yeah, I want to get a lot of like really amazing
Yeah.
musicians to play on it 'cause
But
I
that's
cannot play
that
every
makes sense.
single instrument. I can I can do some, but I'm not a cello player, I'm not a violin player, so I'm gonna have to find some really talented people to work with.
But I think it makes sense because I mean, people with this EP, it's already also smart as a thing because you with this EP that you release, people have the time. For example, even from today, for example, it's the first time that I'm seeing you have the time to listen your music, to literally get to know your musical journey through from Nocturne to the to Spectre, and then after I absorb your music, I start to know your music, and also the lyric wise that we're going to talk about now. Um, when there's going to be the debut album completely out, it's going to be easier for me to understand what changed and what is developed, what is new. Also, another side maybe of your music. Who knows? So it's a good thing. It's also, I wanted to ask you, these EP are only available on a streaming platform, or you made it also physical copy of it?
Yeah, so I did a very small run of
Okay,
physical copies for the I think for Spectre is the
okay,
only one so
awesome.
far that I've made physical copies for. But I think because it's just me, I
Yeah,
haven't
it's not
really
easy.
put in the money to make a bunch of physical copies and ship them
Mm.
out. And I don't even know if there are people that are interested in buying physical copies anymore.
It's sad, but I
Um,
mean, if but with the debut album, just release some vinyls. That's never.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the goal. Is I think that for
Yeah,
sure for the debut album, I absolutely will have a lot more
yeah,
I think desire to put in effort towards
yeah,
for
of
sure
course.
vinyl. I think because if anyone's buying physical media, you might as well make it the more novel thing and have like a
Yeah,
physical vinyl with really cool artwork and like really everything looks
exactly.
really nice, and it's a little bit more than like a CD, I think.
Yeah, because about from a point of view from the marketing, because we have also to acknowledge the truth. It's also it's beautiful the music, listen, but we live in the world where all we appreciate the beauty, and beauty works with marketing. It's easier that you sell more vinyls because there's a lot of collector, and we everyone loves to have vinyl. Than a CDs that maybe is gonna always collect dust in a corner.
Yeah, 100%. And I
Even
think
yeah,
people don't really have CD collections anymore. People have vinyl collections.
I mean, I have my
Yeah,
CD when I was a teenager, but if it's, when I was teenager, I was forced to go into the record store and say, "Hi, gave me Franz Ferdinand CDs. Hi, gave me this indie world that I was into. Give me that some punk." Now I have just
100%.
merchandise sent me, of course, but and some that I bought for myself because sometimes you have like the underground scene, and for them, this is way to make music just having these CDs production. So for that, for supporting
100%.
that, but if you have to just
Yeah.
good, I think that vinyl is it's the most beautiful way to release music.
Yeah, and I think that if I was touring a lot more,
Yeah,
which I have done tours, but I think if I was touring a lot
yeah,
more these days, I think it would make more sense to have
see, yeah,
some physical
yeah,
medium because then I would literally be selling it to people at
yeah,
shows. Um, and I think it's easier that way. But when it's online, like it's
exactly,
this
yeah,
decision to be like, I could spend, 10 or however many dollars to buy a CD, or I could
yeah,
click on the Spotify app and it's
but
free.
yeah, yeah,
Like I think it's a way harder decision. But when you're there at a show and you're like, oh, I could buy
yeah.
a
That's what I
t-shirt
yeah.
and a
I saw
CD and
this
I have this
amazing yeah.
thing.
I saw this amazing band from Holland, well, 2 weeks ago in Milano called The Wolf. They're from Netherlands. It's kind of psychedelic rock from the 70s. They are amazing. And I think, they are not given the right spotlight. And
Mm.
it was a really small venue in Milano, but 300 people. And the merchandise was so small that I was like, where are the things? Where are the vinyl? I went to ask vinyl. We don't have. What is my favorite album? You don't have vinyl. I know they sell vinyl because they maybe have so few people going to the show, maybe not asking for the right thing. So at some point, they're
Mm.
like, you know what? We're gonna skip the part. People buy whatever there is on the merchandise table, but at least they sold everything, and it was
Mm.
beautiful to see. But coming to the what is interesting for me is also speaking about lyric wise and the message because we spoke about there's a little bit of musical influences and the cinematic aspect, but Saint Mesa is more after beside it lyric wise in general, not because of course if we go to dig in every ep we're gonna sleep here probably just what is the main message that you want to spread with your music?
It's hard. I don't know if I have a main message, but I
Okay,
think that for me, a lot of my writing is coming from a really personal place.
okay,
I think most of the songs that I'm writing are almost a way of me processing things that I go through. And it's a way of me
to release,
externalizing my thought processes where like some of the songs are like sort of about like when I'm like been in a relationship and I
yeah,
know that it's like not working and you're like in this panic mode where you feel like you're faking everything.
yeah, you
Uh,
don't know to leave it
yeah, and so like some of those are like really essentially really stylized,
yeah,
really romanticized versions of those like thoughts that my brain is
yeah.
having at night, where I'm like spinning in circles for hours when I should be sleeping.
I
Uh,
mean, I got yeah. So it's
yeah,
all
yeah.
about like we can say the personal aspect, kind of a releasing what you're going through at that moment.
Yeah, and I think if I did have a goal for the lyrics would
Yeah,
be to for people who are like me that are thinking about these things and sometimes feel trapped in their own brain to have some sort of outlet to be like, okay, I'm not the only person that does this. I'm
yeah,
not the only person that's feeling these things.
yeah,
Um, you can kind of connect and
yeah,
feel seen in a way,
yeah.
where maybe like some other music is harder to feel that way because
Of
it can be
course,
so abstracted.
yeah, of course. And
Um,
it's since like North is the last one to be released. What is about North? At least we give to the people a background to the last single.
yeah, that one is actually quite interesting. And I don't think I've even talked about the lyrics anywhere. So I'm actually happy to talk about this one. But for this one, it's interesting because I wrote that song in 2017
Okay.
when I was in Nicaragua. I was living out there for a little bit of time writing music, and this was when I was still on Interscope, and they wanted me to write like fast, upbeat songs. Like they were
Okay.
calling me, my A&Rs were calling me and telling me to like make sure to write songs at this
Yeah.
BPM and stuff. And I was like, why are you guys calling me right now? Let me write music. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so that was one of the songs that I wrote, and like the first lyric is lost. Like, where do I go from here? And that was kind of how I felt at the time when I wasn't
No.
sure if I wanted to be writing this like kind of more upbeat sounding music or if I wanted to go into this cinematic kind of realm. And it also simultaneously was also sort of, I was in a relationship with someone, and I think I realized on that trip when I was living in
Yeah.
Nicaragua that it was not, gonna work. It was
Yeah.
like I realized at that point that it was over, and I was like, oh shoot. But there's actually some really cool symbolic thing about
Yeah.
that being the song that I released before I moved here.
Okay.
Um, where after like, because I basically that song was dead. It was in a hard
But
drive somewhere
okay.
since 2017. I played it. I remember when I came back, I played it for the label, and they were like, "Eh, cool, I guess, whatever." And then they never talked about it again, and so the song kind of just like died.
Okay.
Uh, and so in 2024, I was like, "Huh, maybe I should release that song. It's a cool song."
That's
And so
release.
I pulled it out and I essentially like re-recorded almost everything from the
Okay.
original demo. Like re-recorded a bunch of drums layered against the original ones that we recorded while we were out
Mm.
there. Had my buddy Trent came over and
Yeah,
replayed
because
all the
it's
guitar
yes,
parts.
Mazur also in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. He was with me in
music.
2017. He was the
Yeah.
one who wrote the original guitar progression.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful progression, and which is like, hey, I have this progression. Do you want to write something to it? And I was like, yeah, it sounds really cool. And this like weird tuning. And so I hit him
Yeah.
up again and I was like, hey, do you want to work on this song again and we can finish it and just release it? And he was like, yeah, sure. So he came
Mm.
over, we recorded the guitars and recorded a bunch of vocals, like re-recorded basically all the vocals and everything.
Yeah.
And lyrically, what's really cool about that song is that it almost is really symbolic for also me um leaving California and leaving everyone that I know and moving by myself to Germany.
Yeah.
And just like it kind of feels like very, I mean, it was really, and it still is in a lot of ways really scary doing something like this. Like it's way out of my comfort zone. I don't even speak German, so that's also a really isolating thing.
Yeah.
Um,
You're there for quite a while now, so
Yeah, and yeah, so it's cool. Like lyrically, it definitely is tying into the themes of like feeling really uncertain and
yeah.
really um like like the future is cloudy in a lot of ways.
Yeah. You should take
Um
the risk to do whatever
yeah,
you
but it's
do.
also cool. Like I think it's cool in a lot of ways because the uncertainty and the unknowns kind of leave you so open
Yeah.
to kind of craft where
Yeah.
you want things to go.
Yeah.
Um, and for me, that was also really important to start writing this debut album.
Yeah.
Was that I kind of wanted this fresh
Start.
perspective and fresh
Yeah.
start and clear
Yeah.
future to just be like, I'm just gonna write something and I'm gonna experiment and I'm gonna see where things
Yeah.
go.
And about
Cool.
you finding like a kind of the risk to literally move to another place where you don't speak the language yet, you there is all the uncertainty, so we can say kind of that north could be also um, a way to speak to the people, like take the risk no matter what you're leaving to, could be relationship, could be a place that you want to live, could be situation with toxic people that all we have somehow always. I don't know why as a human we always attract some toxic people, always there is kind of
It just
so
happens. We're dumb.
yeah, but everyone, I'm seeing it. I'm always trying, like, oh, this is toxic, take a distance. And then someone else shows. And I asked to my friend, it happens to you? Yes. So I'm not the only one. Then I asked to another, yeah. So it's not a talk, is I think it's our point of view to see what is toxic or not for us.
Of course, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so we can say that North could be also like you can say like a, I don't want to say like a polar star, but kind of a guide, like a take the risk, do it
Mm.
yourself, no matter what could be, because we don't know what is the other side of the risk.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that like the chorus is like the song is really simple lyrically, like it's not a very complicated, crazy poetic song.
Yeah,
Like the chorus is go, I've got to go so I can be alone. I think it's kind of important when you're
yeah,
feeling, that kind of uncertainty. Like you have to like keep moving and follow your own compass essentially, which is like there's no they get the title of the song as well. Like there's no lyric in the song that says north, but the title of the song is north. I think it's kind of supposed to be this like compass kind of thing where you're following whatever north is for
yeah.
you in that uncertainty.
Exactly. And also because it's important. So by far North is the last single you released and music video. There's like you already spoke that you're thinking about releasing some new single. You already have some idea around where is going to be the next one, or still there's everything ongoing?
Yeah, so I actually have the next one I
Okay.
actually just uploaded to my distributor
Okay.
yesterday, actually. And
Okay.
so that one is actually a collaboration with a local LA artist
Okay.
named Nome Naku. And she kind of does also these kind of hybrid cinematic sounding stuff. And
Right.
she hit me up I think maybe last year, I think sometime 2024, or
Okay.
maybe it was 2023. I actually don't. I think maybe it's 2024. I don't remember. But she hit me up and was like, "Hey, like I'm a big fan of your music. I just moved here to LA. Like, would you ever want to do a session?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? Like sounds fun. You might as well." And then we did a session and we wrote a song and it was ended up being really cool. And so that's going to be the next one that we're
Okay.
working on releasing.
Releasing. So you already have already something, but it's all it's gonna be a single or with a music video included.
It'll be a single. I
Okay.
unfortunately didn't have time with all the crazy moving and stuff to film a music video.
Like go back to like bringing her in German. Like let's do
Yeah,
something.
okay, come on, let's go.
We are not like there's not anymore the excuse during the COVID. Oh well, we're in the pandemic. Let's use Zoom. Like you remember they were always in the
Oh,
Zoom. You have this a musician playing guitar. I was like, what's that?
that was such a weird
Yeah.
snapshot of
Yeah.
time. It almost feels like it didn't exist. Like,
Yeah, can you? I think today, and I always try to remember how. I mean, I remember the days, but I don't remember the feeling that at the beginning we were like, well, we have to go out. What we have to do? We need. There's a red zone. What is that? That's a game. That's a video game. What is that? What was going on? Then it became so normal for us living in that world that when
mm,
everything opened again, we were like, wait, what's going on? Like when you live in a cage and you go out. And now I forgot completely. I mean, I think it was good because you if you can stay with your own thoughts, you can also develop. I don't know, new skills. I started to dig more into spirituality. It's like stay with your mind instead of running away from your thoughts. Learning how to mindfulness in this world, like you. That was good, at least for me. But seeing these all these like a kind of four square in a with the musician. It was sad, but also it was somehow the music world and every business has to survive. So that
yeah.
was the only way. But then it was fun because we were all going through the same.
Yeah, it was like such a wild, kind of unifying
Yeah,
time
yeah,
where everyone was experiencing essentially like mostly the same weird,
yeah.
unheard of thing where we were all like, okay, I'm just in here all day, like I don't
Okay,
know what
yeah.
to do.
And it was
Okay,
so
like,
yeah, and it was so easy to
like
even reach out musician like the biggest. I remember that when I started to do interview, the first even was easy for me to reach out to Megadeth. Like, hey, let's do an interview. Okay, let's go. Now, like, I need the 10 label to reach, but
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
when you
yeah.
also add it's easier also to connect in a personal level with people because it doesn't matter the country. We were all talking all day, having video calls, zooming. Also here in Italy, we were famous to standing in the balcony and singing. So and making barbecue in the roof of the buildings. It was a crazy time for Sicily, also true for Italy. But coming back to more interesting material, I saw on your website that you, correct me here if I'm wrong, you do handcrafted merchandise.
I did for a bit. I
Okay.
don't. Yeah, I need to update my website, but I did have for a few years actually. I had a bunch of handcrafted necklaces and
Okay.
bracelets that I had made. And also I had a bunch of t-shirts that I cut and weathered by hand and like
Okay.
did like a stencil painting on the back of just like the little logo on
Yeah.
the back. And I was also selling those on tour as well when I did some
Oh,
tours.
too.
So I had just big boxes of stuff. But right now I just have some t-shirts and hoodies and stuff, like very simple merch.
Yeah.
I think for me, my goal eventually if it's possible, would be to almost start almost something like a clothing brand or something
That's
eventually.
cool because also your music ended up in some advertising for H&M, right?
Mhm.
So that's the line. I mean, or you got already that the jump, like the main jump. So do you have a particular style that you would like to dive?
I think it's hard. I think it would have to be something that I would spend some time
Okay.
like crafting and developing. I
Mm.
really love like a hybrid of like Japanese inspired clothing. And also there's like a tribalistic element with like some of the stuff that I would definitely want to
Yeah,
incorporate. I
it's
want it to
important.
feel natural, comfortable, accessible,
Yeah, of
to
course. Yeah,
people where it's not like something so wild, but like it is something that's
yeah.
cool and unique, but also something that you could actually just wear
Every
out
day,
without
like yeah.
feeling like you're a peacock, you know?
No, sadly, of course you can. I mean, of course there are those pieces of clothing line that are like one of a kind, and you can. That I think it's easier for accessories. That when you have
I think
the
so, yeah.
weirdest and unique accessories, and you buy it because okay, I have it. If I, for example, sunglasses, rings, you wear it, you know that it's one of a kind. But imagine like a jacket with a super weird, like it's a peacock. There is people with all my respect, beautiful, but if you live in Sicily when we are still in the 50s, I mean you can do it but at your own risk. So
Yeah, you get some people looking like, huh? Looking at you while they're driving, like, huh?
like what are you wearing, what are you wearing? No, but it's already weird for me enough for me going outside with the tattoos here, people, some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
they erase this from your face, what the fuck,
yeah.
or trying to cancel what the because still we have it's okay, we are in 2025, it's we are not I mean all the world it's in 2025, but I think at least for southern Italy we are still grounded in what was the 70s, maybe the 8 the 60s somehow. But if you go into the central area of Sicily, it's the opposite. So the
Ah,
rural
really?
area is more open-minded. I don't know why. I live in the main city
Hmm.
and people are so don't like it. Rural area, woods, nature, people are open-minded because I think closer you are to the nature, open your mind it is.
That's so funny because I feel like it's totally the opposite in a lot of places
Yeah,
where the city is where people who are open-minded
yeah,
gather and have like a lot of venues and shops and
yeah,
stuff. And then the people on the outskirts are kind of stuck in their older ways. I mean, it's definitely like that in the US. I think
yeah,
it's been here in Germany like that a little bit as well.
yeah.
That's so funny. It's
Yeah,
switched.
because people think, because I think I'm also the weird one here. Because also there is, like your point of view could be different from mine. Like as far we talk about being open-minded, but for me, open-minded is just be who you are without giving explanation or without. But and in countryside, yeah, people can maybe look at you like for the first time, who is this person? But after the second, third, fourth time, no one will ever tell you like about your tattoos, about why you're, I don't
Yeah.
know, just the most common things. No one will ever ask you this because they have first because I think they have a real problem like how to deal with life because it's a countryside and you have real how to deal with life and live. Second, because I
Yeah.
think they do their own fucking business. Like I said with a musician, mind your fucking business. That's I think what they do. but I know I never been, and I should go in September in California and somewhere. I don't know if it's San Francisco. Like, I have to see because many people that came here from LA, they told me all the time that Palermo at least look a lot as a LA, as a weather, as a landscape, all dry and then
Mm.
all green. It's a little bit. So I'm curious to see how this is true. So how much this is true.
Yeah, yeah, I think that
Yeah,
there definitely is like a climate
yeah,
similarity where it's almost some of it is desert,
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
dry, like
Dry,
really
dry.
dry
No water,
and
no
hot.
trees.
Yeah, and hot, but then some of it is like
Super cold.
almost tropical in some way, like
Yeah,
really green and
yeah. Yeah, that's true. We remember when a couple of years ago, we was at the end of April. So here in Sicily, at the end of April, you can have or super warm weather or just rain. But it was so hot that people were at the beach. So we were at the beach, not to just swimming, just walking on the sidewalk, and it was around 40 degrees almost. So we said, what should we do? I wanted to go to the mountain. So the mountain, it's up. So while we're going up, there was starting to rain and there was cold. There was like a lot of rain. Then we went even higher in the mountain, and there was a frozen snow that you could say it's okay, but then it started to snow. Like, wait, this is Christmas or this is summer? So we made even a video because it said Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, because it was literally snowing and people in maybe what, 30 kilometers, they were just 20 miles, 25
and
miles,
it was like 40 degrees down at the
they
bottom.
were swimming.
What?
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with me here? So you see, this is the crazy way. This is not the war. I think this is the climate change, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
but of course, coming back, we also sometimes give us our mental some breaks, our mind some breaks. Coming back, do you have some live show planned for 2025, or is only about writing and, like you said, maybe launch some clothing line?
Yeah, I think for me right now, the big focus is definitely going to be writing. I think
Yeah,
I definitely do. It's been a while actually since I've done some proper live shows. I definitely want to develop something really cool, especially if I'm doing an album. I think I want to develop a way of performing these songs, for a live audience for sure.
yeah,
I
of
think
course.
my biggest kind of struggle when it comes to playing live shows is these songs are so big and they
Yeah,
have so many layers and so many parts that are integral to the song.
yeah.
And it's just me making them. And so when it comes to playing them live, I'm
Live.
like, does people even people that like my music, do they want to see me with a guitar playing the song? You know what I mean? That's not what the songs sound like. And I don't know if they are wanting to see me with a guitar and then backing tracks with all of this actual stuff. Like I don't know if that's cool. So
But
the problem is like, maybe I want to get a band to
tour,
play the things, but
yeah.
then it's like I have all of the money to hire all these people and
It should be
pay
more
for
like friends,
transportation
maybe.
and
Maybe
what?
friends. That the best way is always like having friends that can join you.
Yeah, I think that probably would have to be what happens for the next bit of stuff. Because when I was on the label, when I was on Interscope,
Yeah,
there was a tour support budget,
yeah,
and
of course.
so which was amazing. So I was able to actually tour and
Yeah,
get hotels covered and all of this stuff, which was made it possible to tour with like a larger band.
yeah, of course.
But for now, it would definitely be having to figure out how I can get
Yeah,
people to play shows with me for free, which, it's definitely possible. Like I play for my friends for free sometimes if they're like, "Ah, we're having a show, local show," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play some
yeah.
keyboards or something
Maybe
for
at the
fun."
beginning you can try some show, and then if everything fit, just like you can be like, could be, yeah. Well, what do we gain? We can just split. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's basically how I would do
Yeah,
it because I don't need to make money from the shows.
yeah,
It's not. I wouldn't want to be keeping it. Like if we did make any money, it would be going towards
yeah,
paying the people that are playing the music. Of
yeah,
course. So maybe eventually, I think maybe if I were to do any shows in 2025, that would definitely be smaller, maybe
yeah.
hybrid acoustic shows in
Yeah,
some way,
kind of
and then
small
maybe with
venue,
some,
yeah,
yeah, maybe with some very minimal production and maybe
big band,
some
yeah.
string players or something cool and make it really atmospheric. I think that
Yeah.
would that could be
That,
really cool, I think,
that's what
potentially.
I want to ask you, how you can, I mean, how would someone, what someone could expect from one of your live show, also from the cinematic aspect, because I know that is important
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, I think for me, that's also kind of
Yeah,
simultaneously part of the what's kept me from doing live shows for a bit is also I don't want to just go up on a stage and
yeah,
play some songs and it looks like a guy on a stage playing some songs and then you go
yeah,
off stage. You know what I mean? For me, what's really important is and I went and saw this is kind of related. I went and saw I don't know if you know the band, you maybe Hailung.
yeah, of
They
course, you know,
do
Heilung, yeah.
yeah. Hailung. Amazing show. I mean, that is
That's a ritualistic, that's a
to
ritualistic,
me, that is like the goal
also,
of how I would want
yeah,
a
there is a,
full-scale Saint
yeah.
Mesa show to be,
Take
you
a
know,
look to a band called, I'm gonna write the name, Nebala. They are from
Nabala.
Nebala, or they are from Europe, but from United States there is amazing Ozzy and the Jupiter also.
Mm,
They have this in the stage. I never saw them live, but I saw they have some live in Europe. They have this beautiful. I don't know. Also, calling an album "Cedar and Pine" is already for me a lot. It's like poetry, but they have this beautiful also scenery. Just it's simple, but they leave the impact because it's just folkish, more, let's say, more Western folkish than Northern type of folk like
mm,
Heilung, because Heilung, we are talking about big, big
yeah,
stage, big performing, which is the one I say ritualistic, because it's actually a ritual. But
it is, yeah.
just check it out on Nebala. They have something like that, and they're still ongoing. They're still not that big as Heilung, so maybe I know that the main the one behind it is Jonas Lorentzen. He was produced, also acted and produced music for the movie The Northman. So it's
Ah, okay,
yeah.
okay, yeah. I just actually, me and Cleo Tiger, Jesse, just watched that movie like a
So
couple
yeah,
weeks
I'm
ago.
just I'm gonna send you the name. You can easily add him so that your friend. It's a really an amazing person and open minded. For I'm sure they say, oh, so you sing? Okay, jump into my project. That's what he does. Just jump into my
Yeah.
project. He did this with my friend from Palermo. He's a drummer. Oh, I like you. Jump into my project. He's a these are and they have this beautiful just opening their stage to everyone from different culture. A girl from
Mm,
Sardinia, somewhere from, I don't know, Norway, from Eastern Europe, putting all of these. And what they do is just this tribal, but it looks like almost dance. It's like
mm.
they can do a rave with other music, and they have this. I don't know. There's something beautiful in their music. I'm gonna send it to you. They are
Yeah, send it to me.
the spiritual side also is also deep because it's literally deep. So you were mentioning like Heilung, and I mean maybe you can if you want you can hire like a lot of warriors in your in your stage,
Get some
but
Vikings or something.
maybe dancers would be better for your music, more likely suitable for your genre.
Yeah.
Or you're
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah. I
yeah,
think some version, but I think for me, what the important part is that it feels so intentional,
yeah,
uh, and it feels so perfectly representative of how the music
yeah,
sounds. You know, it's
of
like
course,
you're when you go to a show like that. Also, someone like Rai X. Also,
yeah,
you go to a show and you're watching like a movie basically, and the music that they're playing is the soundtrack to the movie that you're watching. To me, that's exactly how I would
exactly.
want a Saint Mesa show to be, whether it's on the small scale or the
Or
larger
the
scale.
big scale, yeah,
It would be important for to be able to have that aspect,
yeah,
regardless of the scale. So, like, if I did a broken down acoustic show, I would definitely want it to be in a beautiful location. I would want to
yeah,
have control over like how the stage is looking in some way
yeah,
or the
of course.
lighting or something, you know, like I want it to feel really special and intentional. And I want people who go there to
Feeling
feel
that, yeah.
like they're really watching something like visual as well, not just hearing the music, but
No,
experiencing something visual. And also to feel like respected as well. Like I think it
Yeah,
sometimes it can be a lot for someone to go out and go
yeah,
to a show and like, take time out of their day. So I think I want it to feel special in that
yeah.
way.
It's like when you go to
Um,
a theater also, if you go to watch a movie, maybe there is a, you can go to a theater to watch, for example, like a music musician play, like a live show. Nowadays
yeah,
there are theater, and maybe in a theater you can also put some cinematic effect, or you go there to watch documentaries, and maybe before the documentaries you have some musicians, some historian talking, I don't know, creating kind of this context that you can experience and go home, and like I say, with that you learn, you got something inside of you, not
yeah,
only
100%.
just you see and you heard the music, you saw someone, no, just you felt completely, you felt, and something changed in you.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. I think it's so easy for people to go and like see a few bands at a pub and they're like, "Oh,
exactly.
that was some fun music and I had some drinks and now I'm gonna go home." And like I think that's great. And I think that that should exist everywhere in the world for people
Yeah.
to go and do that. For me, I want it to feel a little bit more unique of an experience for people when they go to a show. I want it to
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I didn't just go and see some people play some music, but I went and I saw something that inspired me in some way,
Yes,
and I
exactly.
saw something unique that had this intention put behind it that was really powerful in some way.
Yes.
Um, yeah, something really special.
And I feel that, I mean, you have a, your mind is the ideas is are there. Like
Mm,
probably you're gonna start with music. You're gonna start maybe with developing some small live show also to get also more in Europe or United States whatsoever. And don't forget the clothing line, also accessory line, because I think it's a part for people. I think it's kind of important also because it's part of also who you are, spreading the your point of view from also in the fashion industry, which is, I think we also say, ah, who cares about fashion? Then you see running all around places, because come on, nowadays is all about go to Shein, go to this which is can be cool if you don't have the money, can be cool if it's okay. But come on, how beautiful it is when you go in this small, even vintage store, I don't care, in places, and you bought this unique pieces that you only have,
yeah,
even if it's just a shirt, or you made for yourself, even you have an old the classic things, your old band shirt, you cut it, it's mine, no one else has it. And it's good to support. That's why I prefer Etsy sometimes, because you support
yep,
local artists. Also, when you have to buy all these crystal necklaces that I used to buy, go there. It's I mean, you have that small pieces that came from maybe another, the opposite side of the world, but you have it. When I got my shamanic drum, you can buy shamanic drum here almost everywhere, but it's almost made, plastic. You don't know exactly the wood. When I bought
yeah,
mine, it was a girl from, I think, or Latvia or Lithuania, I don't remember. She even asked me if I wanted painted. I was like, what the fuck, you can paint it? So she painted with what I wanted, and it was my painting, was my drum, was one of a kind for me in the beginning. So I said, this girl did so much. At the end, she asked me, can I sell it? Like, can I sell the print? So of course, I mean, you did everything by yourself. But I knew that at the beginning, that was my piece. I paid, I know, because that's how you survive if you're a small business.
mm.
People expect to buy maybe a necklace for, I don't know, €6, $10. But let's be realistic. If you're a small business, that's what there is a real price, and that's the same for musician. They want to buy your vinyl, is going to be, let's say, for example, $50. That's the price they for putting out. Less the copy, higher the price. So
Yeah,
if you are Iron Maiden, or I don't know, Franz Ferdinand, probably it's gonna be $30, but different. You have thousands. That's why it's important at the moment that the people can support musician and artists like you, for example, buying your already, I don't know, in the platform, your EP, streaming your music, demanding even maybe live show, or promoters
mm.
hiring you for live show. This is how the wheel of music works. Otherwise, people might ask you, oh, then it's going to be the next album, it's going to be the next live show. I don't know. I'm stuck here. I have to leave somehow. I can't move.
Yeah.
We are not like I don't know if you know Estas Tonnet. We are not like Estas Tonnet that we work and we are no would be amazing. But
Yeah.
I wish you really to just looking forward to the new single. First of all, I'm gonna take a look to this. If you can send me her IG if she has it.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
of course.
I mean, I'm gonna interview her for sure because Cleo, you her, I'm gonna make. Then she has a friend of a friend. I'm gonna make all this.
Making a big circle.
Yeah, no, because it's interesting also to have different, maybe hearing a point of view from this single. Maybe it's
Yeah,
good
of
also as,
course.
as for promoting the single, the release it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you the project, the banner I told you. And what can I say? Then thank you much. Thank you so much for the time, and it was a really nice talk. And the end, the Wi-Fi, the hotspot worked at the end.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Sending greetings to Cleo, and
I will.
she's amazing. She's amazing. We have also the same love for the same book. I saw her all the time. We found out that we both love Women Who Run with the Wolf. It's
Ah, yeah, she has so many
yeah,
of these books everywhere. It's amazing.
yeah. So we have that like, oh, we have the same love. Okay, yes, yes. So and see you maybe some around because we are in Europe. Kind of, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Where,
not too
yeah,
far.
no,
No, I
yeah,
have not been
exactly.
to Sicily yet, so maybe take a little
If
trip.
if you want to eat the phone, I'm here. It's a big house. It's a big house, kind of. Thank you, Grandma. It's a big house. So have a beautiful rest of the day, and thank you so much for everything, Danny.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Bye. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.
I'm a ghost